Yeah, so I am the secondary math faculty member. I teach the math methods classes. So if you want to teach math at the secondary level, so middle school or high school, you kind of have to learn with me how to do it. Yeah, I also teach a class, a math content course each semester for the elementary ed program. Just kind of keep I don't know, keep up to date with teaching kind of pure math content. And I have taught for a decade, mostly at the high school level, but also at the middle school level, also actually at the elementary school level, principally kind of in the context of research. But and I have worked with kind of in high poverty areas because I care deeply about the change that teachers can make, and so and I'll kind of speak to that a little bit in the presentation. But Toof, do you want to let us
Sure.
know who you are?
Hi, everyone. My name is Toof Francis. I am a associate professor here at Oakland University, and I taught for 10 years in Toledo Public Schools. Like Paul, I did all my time in urban schools in areas of high need, and that is where my heart is. But I'm really super excited to be at Oakland. I've been here now since 2012, and we basically, me and Paul and Anika, who is another faculty member, basically lead the secondary program. And you will, one of the benefits of Oakland, and this is a question you can ask universities if you're kind of shopping around and looking for a place, how closely will you work with lead faculty? Because at some universities, you work with grad students and you work with people who are part-time instructors. When you come to Oakland, you work directly with me, directly with Paul. You work with lead faculty almost the whole time you're in our programs, which we are very proud of, and which is we'd have no other way for that. So it's really great to meet you. I'm the social studies guy. I teach history methods. What is social studies, that kind of thing. And I do teach a couple of introductional classes, like the foundations of education.
Secondary education, um, why we've taken that path and why you should as well. Um, so hold on, let me. Okay. So Ernest Hemingway said, "For what are we born if not to aid one another?" I think this kind of undergirds the program. We teach because we care about the students we teach, and we also care about the community and the society that we release these students into, and that we kind of prepare these students for. So I've just took two pictures of students that I have worked with. That's actually me in the back of the first photo, couple of a couple of decades ago almost. Um, and and I also want to go with this quote from Mother Teresa: "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples." So I feel like with each student with whom I have worked, I have created ripples. Most of them have been positive and productive. Some have not, and I've learned for those. But these students are so the students on the right are from in the picture on the right are from a I'm sorry, from a high school in East San Jose, California. It was a charter school that I kind of started with some other people, and pretty much this was kind of, these are my advisory students, but I also taught them in other capacities. And these are students who basically came to this school having failed out of local schools, and I taught them for the time they were in the school. And all of these students who had failed out of other schools in the community went on to 2 and 4 year universities and were successful. And some of them I'm still in communication with. So the point is that teaching is it is a huge thing to take on, and we make huge differences. And maybe I'll talk about the picture on the left in a minute. So question is, why teach? So I think I addressed a little bit of that just with kind of my description of the photo. Well, kids love teachers, but kids also need teachers, and kids need highly effective teachers. So I will make the argument that we have, me, Toof, Anika Bow, and some others, have worked on this program, improving this program, aligning it with the best and most current research on how to prepare effective teachers, that I think we do this better than anybody else in the state of Michigan. We prepare teachers to change kids' lives because kids need teachers and kids love teachers. So adolescents, when you come into middle or high school, your students are developing their own moral judgments. They are intellectually curious, and they're attempting to understand how life and society operates, within all of the disciplines that you teach, history, math, etc. So it is squarely in your lap to prepare these students in this way. And they, this is a critical kind of developmental moment for them. And you are the ones, you have kind of the honor of being the ones who get to make these changes and help students understand things. I mean, you help students understand what it even means to know, while you're also helping them to know. And just another point, at this time, parents have become white noise. So you kind of are the singular feature, or the singular person in these kids' lives. And more to the point, I mean, teachers don't just deliver content. Teachers are mentors, they're role models, they're friends, they're guides, they're counselors, confidants, and all of these things and many more. And I always kind of go back to the point, like, it is pretty impressive and pretty pretty just huge that we get to develop the way that students think. I mean, that's how can you impact somebody more than that? So students recognize when teachers respect them, when students listen to them, and when teachers work hard for them and on their behalf. And when you do these things, you change a life. So kids need teachers. And I'm not just saying that as a rhetorical technique to get you guys to come to Oakland. I'm saying that because studies show it. For example, there was a Harvard University study from 2012 on the impact of teachers. So basically, they took 1 million students from age 4th and followed them all the way to adulthood. And what they noticed was if students had just one effective teacher, highly effective in the way that it was defined in this study, they had higher test scores. In addition, when they looked farther out, these students were less likely to have children as teenagers and more likely to attend better colleges, also graduate from high school, live in higher SES areas. So it is pretty significant that through this study, we can point to the effectiveness of what we do and the importance of what we do in this program and what we prepare our students to do, our pre-service teachers to do. So we can unequivocally state that we make students' lives better when we're effective. Students have more money to put away for retirement. They make higher salaries. And there also was a finding that if you replace the bottom, I'm sorry, Alexa is telling me something. I apologize. Okay, so if you replace the bottom 5%, the least effective teachers, with just an average teacher, this study showed that typical classrooms made $1.4 million more in their careers. So I know it's not entirely about preparing teachers to prepare their students to make money, but that's certainly a piece of it. I mean, it is our goal to help support and facilitate social mobility. Like, so here's an example of, I searched for emails from students in putting this PowerPoint together, and I had a student named Sergio who in San Jose as well, and he just wrote this, and you know, this might just seem like, oh, a nice email from a student. How's it going, Weinberg? That's what they called me. How you doing? I've been good. I got my bachelor's degree in mathematics, and now I'm working in Palo Alto in a medical company. I have a daughter. Things are going great. Nothing to complain about. Another day alive is another good day. So what is so striking to me about this is that this student, when he came to our charter school, he had failed out of his local school, and we actually had to call CPS on him, and we had to call the police because he was really unhappy with his life. He was depressed. He was kind of talking about, you know, the possibility of harming himself. But through the relationships, like I had this kid in my advisory. I worked with him in Algebra 1. I had him in Algebra 2. And by the end of high school, he graduated. He had a great GPA. He went to a good college, and he got a great job. So what is important is that we prepare teachers who can be kind of that significant support in students' lives. Okay, and also, and I'm kind of running low on time, but I just want to say it's also a fun career. Like, you get to take the content area that you love. I loved mathematics. I love supporting people to understand mathematics, and you get to do that for the rest of your life, and you get to get better at it. You get to learn better strategies. It's never boring. You do what you love. And the final point is, there are jobs. I mean, I've got some data here. Let's just kind of go to the summary. Well, if we want to, hold on, okay, let's just look at, okay, so in terms of making money in here, middle 56. So this is the median national income. I'm trying to remember too, it was like the mean Michigan income was like 64,000.
Yeah, it's Michigan is higher than this. Yes.
Yeah, so Michigan is higher than the average. So if you think about, I had a slide, but I don't know. So the point is that $64,000, like you're not going to be able to buy a yacht. You're not going to drive a Lamborghini, but you are going to be able to make enough money to, you know, support yourself, live a good life. You're going to have great benefits. My wife is still, she is an elementary school teacher now, and we go off of her benefits because literally they can't be beat. And you get to, so you make this money, and so the question is, are there jobs? That's the question we always get, and the answer is yes. There's been job growth since, looking since 2016, and even now with changing conditions and COVID, there have been a lot of retirements, and even before COVID, literally, I've taught here since 2013, and every math methods student that I have had has gotten a job, and is still in the job and is still loving the job. I mean, I keep contact with those students, and so I'm going to pass to Toof in a second, and he's going to explain how it is that our program is as effective as it is with students. But I'm going to make the claim that if you are prepared to teach mathematics from me, if you're prepared to teach history from TOOF, if you're prepared to teach ELA from Dr. Stearns Pfeiffer, or any of our other faculty, you will be among the best prepared teachers in the state. Local districts recognize this, and you will get a job.
We're going to talk about the program. Like, what does our program look like, and what would happen when you're involved in the program? We're in a really strange spot to explain our program to you because as we speak, the state is changing everything they've done for the last 3 decades in education. So about 20 to 30 years ago, they decided that you were going to get one of 2 certificates, K-8 or 6-12. Well, they've changed it. And so now we have to they're making it a little more complicated, but it's better. It is a better system where we're going, and I'm excited about it, but it does force us to completely revamp our program. Really, we are raising our program to the ground almost and starting over. So I'm going to have to give you both the program as it is now, just in case the state delays, because we're still working on, like, for instance, this Friday, I'm in a 9-hour meeting with the state of Michigan to rewrite the standards around social studies. And so, like, we're just in that spot. But by the time you students and your students are here in 3 years, we're going to have a brand new program. And so I think, unless the state delays us further, which is a possibility, though it's remote, I do believe this is going to go through. So I'm going to give you a quick version of the old program and a quick version of the new program, just so you have an idea, because actually there's only one major change. So let's talk outgoing program. First of all, as you know, we're called STEP, Secondary Teacher Education Program. So we shouldn't say the STEP program, because then we'd be saying Secondary Teacher Education Program, but we'll just call it STEP for now. And really, this is us at the School of Education work very close to with the College of Arts and Sciences. So Paul works with mathematicians, and I work with historians, and Amanda, we work with these disciplinarians to create this degree. And my expertise is not as a historian, though I've trained under a historian. My degree is actually in teaching history. So the historians and the teaching history people work together, and the mathematicians and the teaching mathematics people work together for this program. And so what that means for you is you're going to get the best of both worlds. You're going to get training under these disciplinary experts and training under educational experts, like I said, and you'll work directly with us. So we have strong preparation and discipline, as I said. And what we do currently, this is the old program again, you choose a major, which is either bio or chem or mathematics or physics or any of these, history, English, one of these as your major, and then you choose a minor. So then someone could be a history major, bio minor, history major, math minor, math major, history, just whatever choice. That's how the state of Michigan used to do it. And so you would leave Oakland with 2 certifications, one in a major, one in a minor. And then you could also get these special endorsements in either integrated science, which means you can teach any of the 4 sciences, or social studies, which means you teach any of the 4 social sciences. Okay. And so really it was a 5-year program. What we're ending right now, which should be gone by the time you're here, but it still is really on the books. So we have to tell you this is what it is, but it's probably going to change. It's a 5-year undergraduate program. Year 5 is your full internship year. So like all years 1 through 3, you're taking all your courses in your major and your minor and your gen eds. And then year 4, you begin your education coursework. Year 5 is when you really take your education coursework and your full-time student teaching. And really, you're going to be in a school half-time for 1 whole semester. That's 3 to 4 hours a day. And then full-time the next semester. You are side by side with an expert teacher every single day, co-planning, co-teaching, really training under an expert. And I tell you, we are very careful with who we place people with. We do our best to get you the best mentoring possible, and you'll have a representative from the university to keep coaching you also. So that's the old program. Let me just give you a quick update on where we're going with this. So we'd like to think we're going to have it open by fall 2022, which means any student who adds now would have the choice of whether to go with the old or the new program. You're probably going to want to go with the new program. So here's why. So in response to this change at the state, to lower the credits needed for graduation. There's a number of things that's driving this. We are actually proposing a 4+1, which means you do a 4-year degree, which is in your area of study. It could be social studies or math or science or English, and then a 1-year master's program at the end where you get your certification. Okay, so it's the same amount of time as the old program, but you're going to leave with a master's degree and certificate now, like with this revision. And it's the same cost. It's like $400 difference total. Berta, I think that's what our numbers have shown. The cost is almost the same because the great news is 19 credit hours of this 4 years, you pay the undergraduate rate, but you get the master's level credit. And then you can finish a master's degree in one year. So you basically, in the same amount of time, 5 years, you leave with a bachelor's and a master's and a certificate. Okay. Additionally, for career changers, we have this extra track that people who graduated from somewhere else in something else can still join us, and then they will join the 4+1 people who've been with us since their freshman year. So really, that's the structure of our program.